Hey, my reactor. So we back with Women of the Bible, and we're talking about Elizabeth. Her character, a descendant of Aaron. Elizabeth was a woman the Bible called upright in the sight of God. Like very few others, male or female, she is praised for also observing all the Lord's commandments and regulations without blame. She is the first to acknowledge Jesus as Lord. Her sorrow to be burned for most of her life. Her joy to give birth to John, later known as John the Baptist, the Messiah forerunner. His name, divinely assigned, meant the Lord is gracious. Her story. Her eyes were a golden brown, like currant zest in pastry. They winked out at the world from cheeks that baked too long in the sun. Snowy strands of hair straggled from beneath a woolen shawl, tickling her wrinkled face. Small hands rested tenderly on her rounded belly, softly probing for any hint of movement. But all was still. From her vantage point on the roof of the house, she noticed a figure walking up the pathway and wondered who her visitor might be. She and Zachary had been content enough in their quiet house these last few months, secluded in their joy. Each morning she had opened her eyes as though waking to a fantastic dream. Sometimes she shook with laughter as she thought about how God has rearranged her life, planning a child in her shriveled up old woman womb. 6 months ago, Zachara has been chosen by Lot to burn incense before the most holy place, a once in a lifetime privilege. But during his week of priestly service in the temple, he has been frightened half to death by a figure that appears suddenly next to the altar of incense. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, the angel told him, and you are to give him the name John. He will be a joy and delight to you, and many will rejoice because of his birth. For he will be great in the sight of the Lord. It was Sarah and Abraham all over, Rebekah and Isaac, Rachel and Jacob. God was once again kindling a fire with two dry sticks. For the life of her, Elizabeth couldn't understand her husband's response to the angel that had so terrified him. Once you lay eyes on a heavenly being, now could you feel how could you feel to believe that anything was possible? But Zachariah had blurted out his skepticism and suffered the consequences. His voice has been snatched away and will not be given back until the angel words came to pass. These days he communicated by scribbling on a wax tablet. Elizabeth looked down again at the figure advancing up the path, a green sprig of a girl. The older woman stepped carefully down the stairs and into the house to welcome her guest. But with the young woman's words of greeting came something that felt like a gale force wind, shaking the beams and rafters of the house. Steadying herself, the older woman felt suddenly involved. Her unborn baby leaped inside her as she shouted out a welcoming response. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the child you will bear. But why am I so favored that the mother of my Lord should come to me? As soon as the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Blessed is she who has believed that what the Lord has said to her will be accomplished. Mary had made the journey all the way from Nazareth to visit her relative Elizabeth. The same angel who had spoken to Zachariah in the temple had whispered the secret of the older woman's pregnancy to the virgin, who was with child. The magnificent song of praise that Mary burst from Mary's lips during their meeting may have taken shape during the course of her 60-mile journey south to the hills country of Judea where Elizabeth lived. They sang, The two women held each other, their bonds of kinship now, so much stronger than what mere flesh and blood could forge. For Israel God, the God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, Leah, Miriam, Deborah, Naomi, Ruth, Abigail, and Hannah, was on the move again, bringing a long ago promise to fulfillment. And blessed and blessed who she and blessed was she who did not doubt that what the Lord had said to her would be accomplished. And that's Isabel's story, y'all. And I will be back with the next segment of the book. Bye, Maria.